Welcome everyone to the New Fly Fisher. I'm your host Bill Spicer. On this week's show, we're in Newfoundland on the Gander River, guest of Gander River Outfitters. Our subject this week, Atlantic salmon. We'll talk about rods, lines, flies, and techniques, and there'll even be a casting lesson. It's going to be chock full of information, so get your notebooks ready and we'll be right back. On this week's show, we're guests of Gander River Outfitters, a beautiful full-service facility located on the northeast coast of Newfoundland near the city of Gander. Flowing into Gander Bay on Newfoundland's northeast coast is the 37-mile-long Gander River. Since 1991, the river's annual run of wild Atlantic salmon has increased steadily to over 25,000 fish, one of the most remarkable wild stock recoveries of the 20th century. During the main salmon run, as many as 175 fish per hour leap right in front of the camp. Our guide for today is Harry Bald. With many years of experience on the Gander River, his tutorage will make for a successful trip. The vessel that we're fishing from is called a Gander canoe. This canoe was specially designed for the fast currents of the Gander River. These canoes are very stable and able to carry a large amount of supplies and equipment. This particular canoe was hand-built by Harry himself. Doing a reach cast to control my drift. I don't want such a big bow in there that the fly is going to pass too quickly. So I reach over so it's more of a straight line down. Then I follow along with a tip. It slows down the presentation. Fish on. I knew I had to get closer. Yes, sir. It's been a long time coming, but I finally got one. Yeah, what a leap. What a leap. Now, the fish are coming through the rapids and resting at the top. So, we're moving a little closer to the rapids. Now this guy's gonna go up again. Yes, sir. On a green Highlander, I've been trying all different flies. Like anybody else, you know, you start getting desperate when the bite isn't quite on. Oh yeah, what a leap. Yeah, and that's a decent fish. This is a grilse, but it'd be on the top side of a grilse as far as size. What you want to notice is when the fish goes to run, I allow it to run. I don't resist it. I've got a drag system on my reel and I'm using it. This is a decent fish. Now, there you go. That's a good fish. That's a good fish. Ready? And away he goes. Well, the smell of skunk is off me right now. I'm feeling a little bit better. Now, wasn't that terrific? I never get tired of fish like that, even after 40 years of fishing. The strategy I was using today is called zoning. Now, I learned from a previous guide, patience is the name of the game. So what I'm doing is I cast short, very short first, and let them swing on each side of the boat. Then all I do, 6 inches at a time, cast again each side of the boat. Then 6 inches again until I go completely through the run and I'm casting as far as I care to cast. Then we have the guide release the boat and we move down another 10 feet or so. Now the equipment you're going to need when coming to Newfoundland and Labrador for Atlantic salmon are 9-foot stout action rods in the 7 to 9 weight. You'll need that strictly because these fish fight very hard. Even the small fish fight hard. The reels you need, large arbor, and that's just for picking up line fast because these fish tend to run directly at you and you need the availability of picking up line fast. Smooth drags. Again, these fish fight hard and they will tax your equipment. Now, regulations as far as lines are concerned dictate no weight on the line, on the leader, or the fly. That means you're pretty much stuck with floating lines. So a good steelhead taper or Atlantic salmon taper, floating line will do fine for you. Leaders, the length of your rod, I like the tapered leaders, but when you get here, you'll find out most people just put 10 to 12 pound test of 9 feet of it, and that's all they use for a leader. But I find, especially with the dry flies, a tapered leader is best. Extreme water conditions can dictate what fly choice you make. For instance, extremely low water conditions where you haven't had rain in a while will dictate a lighter dress fly, such as this silvertip. As you can see, the body's only slight. We got a little bit of silver and a real light wing. Fish, as the water goes down, become very spooky. They don't like it when they're huddled down and don't have enough room to move around. So a lighter fly is your choice. Now in higher water, your choice might be this green Highlander. It's got a larger profile, heavier hook. It's going to sink a little farther for you. It's got lots of color to it, and the fish will see it easily. After a very satisfying dinner, we decided to fish for the last hour of light just upstream from the lodge. Fish on, yes. Just after supper, and we come out just to have one more fish. And there's a lodge right there, so this is how close you can get these fish. I switched over to the good old reliable blue charm. And he hit. Boy, he ever hit hard too. Wowee. Just about took the rod right out of my hands. And he's about to come up. Yes, nice grill. Yes. Oh, and he let go. Well, you just don't win them all. But that, I've had some action. That's just the way it is with salmon fishing. You win some, you lose some. I lost that one. I lost it because he broke my fly off. He broke my whole tippet off. So I'm going to change leaders completely then. I was a little too thick to thin there, so I think I'm going to change leaders and try it again. Yep, broke right at the knot. Gander River Outfitters is a full-service lodge that can accommodate up to 12 rods per week. This beautiful and accessible drive-to location is very popular, so it's best you arrange your trip at least 6 months in advance. Gander River Outfitters is the place to be for comfortable accommodations, with private bathrooms and showers, along with great meals, great people, and outstanding Atlantic salmon fishing. One of the things I love about coming to Newfoundland is the abundance of wildlife. This is truly a nature lover's paradise, in addition to being fishing heaven. Presentation is far more important than the fly choice itself. When fishing a dry fly, such as a bomber, you want a completely drag-free drift. This means you want the fly to float at the same speed as the bubbles on the surface. Now, for the most part, when swinging a wet fly in the current, you want the fly to skim across the surface of the water, causing a wake behind it. Adding a hitch to the head of the fly will aid in making the fly skim the surface. Now I'm dealing with a little bit of wind today coming from the rear, and that presents a problem when I want to cast off the right side of the boat. The wind blowing, because I'm a right-handed caster, is going to blow the line into me. Casting on the left side of the boat, there's no problem, just my normal cast will work. Now, to deal with this, I don't want the line to be blowing at me with a hook, so I'm going to use my back cast as a presentation cast. Now, in order to do that, I must turn around and watch what I do. I cast this way towards the rear of the boat, and then when I want to present it, I use my back cast and present it over here. Atlantic salmon, also known as Salmon salar, hatch and develop in fresh water and migrate to the sea as smolts, returning as mature silvery salmon to spawn. Unlike Pacific salmon that die after spawning, approximately 10% of Atlantic salmon will return to the sea as kelts, and then return in subsequent years as multi-season salmon. Salmon which return after 1 year and in varying sizes from 3 to 8 pounds are known as grilse. Multi-season salmon returning are known as adult salmon and can reach sizes up to 70 pounds. An Atlantic salmon has a remarkable ability to navigate to their original spawning river and most often to the exact spawning beds they were born in. This takes place from February to November. With regulations dictating you can't weight the fly or your line, when the fish are down deep and they don't want to come up, the only option you have is to use a heavier wired gauged hook and use a stack mend. Now watch this segment on stack mending and it'll explain exactly what it's all about. What we have to do, because the regulations dictate we can't use any weight to get our fly down, in order for me to get the fly down, I got to use mending techniques. And one mending technique that we use is called a stack mend. It's done like this. I cast my line across the water. When it lands, I mend upstream, and I mend again, and again, and I'm letting line out as I go. The hook will sink to the bottom, and then I swing it to where I feel the fish are. Ooh, hit. That was a good hit. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yes, on a dry fly. Oh no, it's crabbed onto my other line. Oh no. Wowee. Now what I've got a real problem here. I had one of my rods hanging down and he went into my line. So I'm gonna try to horse him in a bit, see if I can get him quickly. Horse him in a bit, see if I can get him quickly. And I did. I got lucky. I got real lucky. If you look right above there, see the mess I got? I got lucky. Wowee. On a dry fly. It's an orange bomber. Whoop, and away he goes. Well, that was a real professional release. This has been one major cluster. This will definitely make our blooper reels, but also our main programming. There's the bomber and all my other junk. This is crazy. This is crazy. And I'm a professional, people. Remember that. We have a lot of fish moving through right now because we had a recent rain. And what rain will do will change the water level and the fish will begin to run up from the ocean. As you've seen, that one fish I had sea lice on it. That means it's been in fresh water less than 2 hours. Well, it's near the evening. The fish are running. And we've over here off to the side of this run, I've seen quite a few fish move here. And I'm just trying to control the cast and control my drift. I don't want it to go so fast that it goes by the fish too quickly. I'm trying to slow down my presentation, have the swing slow down in order that they have a chance to see the fly. If it goes by too fast, they don't have a chance to react to it. Remember, these fish are not feeding and they're not going to chase. If you put it right in front of their face, they're going to take it. It's all out of aggression. A good supply of flies to bring with you to the Gander River would be bombers in various colors, buck bugs, green machines, green highlanders, blue charms, and silver tips. Salmon are among the most beautiful fish in the world. Streamlined, silver and graceful. They are very powerful too, among the greatest fighters in the fishing world. And perhaps most important of all, Atlantic salmon are a symbol of clean, unspoiled waters that run wild to the sea. Hard fighting and acrobatic is why many fishermen travel on an annual basis from around the world to fish for this much sought after species. The setup that we are using is dictated by regulations to be a floating line only, to a 9-foot tapered leader, to a 0x tippet, then the fly. Regulations state that no weight shall be used on the line, leader, or the fly. Typical areas that will hold fish are seams. Seams are where two currents of differing speeds meet. Fish will hold in the slower of the two currents. Rocks, whether they're exposed or not, will break the current and cause a seam. These are particularly good areas to hold fish. Most people know that a fish will hold behind a rock, but are unaware that they will also hold in the hydro cushion in front of the rock. I will always cover both the front and the back of rocks when searching for fish. Fish on, fish on. We've had a bit of rain and I think it brought in some fresh fish. It's right after supper and we're at the top of the rapids again. Oh yeah, very nice. These fish just don't give up. They're an incredibly hard fighting fish. And a good old reliable blue charm. For some reason, these fish seem to like blue charms. He's moving all over the place, and like I say, every time I'm fighting a fish, if the fish wants to run, I allow it to run. Let it fight the drag of my reel. That's utmost importance. Don't hang on to the line, let it go. That's what your drag is meant to do, but it's worth the wait for the fish. They fight so hard. As you can see, this is a number 8 weight rod. He's got it bent right over. And I let him fight the rod like a shock absorber, up and down. He doesn't like that net. And we got him. These can be got in most tackle stores, but they make a big difference when handling your fish. Now this guy has some sea lice on him, so he's a fresh fish. If you can see right at the bottom of the tail here, that's sea lice. So this fish has just come in. He's got them on his cheeks. So this is a very fresh fish right from the ocean. Yep, it feels like it's starting to kick a bit. And away he goes. That was fantastic. Just fantastic. Yeah. Oh, it was a long time coming. We worked hard. We systematically took apart the area. We started up high. I zoned an area. We moved down, zoned again, and as soon as I got behind the rock, I took a fish. So that's the important thing here. Presentation, patience, and the right fly. Whew. Yes, sir. Atlantic salmon have become one of my favorite freshwater fish. Combine patience, presentation, and the proper fly selection will equal success. For more information on today's show and other shows in our series, visit us on the web at thenewflyfisher.com. From all of us here at The New Fly Fisher, thanks for joining us. Tight lines, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Tom Rosenbauer. For videos like the one you just saw and more, subscribe to our channel. You don't want to miss our weekly uploads of educational videos, exciting trips, and much more.